Hey there. Welcome back to the Golfweek Amateur Tour, the podcast. Chris, should we tell people how to join the tour?
Of course. Whether you're a seasoned member or just tuning in to learn more, we're here to help you dive into the ins and outs of the tour. If you've been on the fence about joining, there's no better time than now. It's a fantastic way to play competitive golf, meet other passionate golfers, and step up your game.
Registration is open. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership dues.
And if you want to keep up with all things Golfweek Amateur Tour, make sure you're subscribed and listening to the podcast on your favorite platform. Don't forget to download each episode, share it with your golf buddies, and if you're enjoying the show, drop us a like and a review. Your feedback helps us grow the community and reach more golfers just like you. Thanks for tuning in. Now let's get into today's episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, Golfweek Amateur Tour proudly presents Golfweek Amateur Tour, the podcast, talking about all things Golfweek Amateur Tour, including interviews with tour directors, players, and course professionals. Now here are your hosts, Tim Newman and El Paso Las Cruces Tour Director, Chris Rocha.
Welcome back, Chris. Hope you're feeling a lot better. You know, last time we talked, you were in dire straits, bud.
Yeah, man, it's been a battle, but I'm feeling a whole lot better. I just need these little windstorms to go away from my area and stop looking like, a Star Wars movie set, and we'll be okay.
Well, good luck with that. But it's
not as easy as it looks, but I'm anxious to get back on the course to start playing again.
Yeah. So, I know you got a tournament come this weekend, but were you at Pikachu? Your last tournament, was that your last tournament, Pikachu?
Yeah, Pikachu.
Is that coming up? No, it's Pikachu, man. Just you got kids.
Yeah,
I like saying it, and here's why I like saying it, because there's a senior regional coming up. There's actually two senior regionals that are this coming weekend, and I obviously the podcast is going to come out after that. But one is the Heart of Dixie Regional, and that's at Purcell Farms. But the other one is at Mission Inn Resort, and that's at a town called Howey in the Hills.
All right,
Howey in the Hills, Florida. So when there's funny names of things like that, to me, it makes me laugh. So you played at Pikachu, and I'm going to Howey in the Hills.
Howey in the Hills.
Howey in the Hills.
They were very clever when they named that little town.
Yeah, but that's tell us about Pikachu. I know you didn't play, but how'd that go for you guys?
It was great. Honestly, this season has been really successful for us. We had over 60 guys come out and play with a playoff in champ flight where one of the guys made 3 straight birdies on the last 3 holes to push the playoff, and then birdied the playoff hole to win.
Oh my goodness.
So that was pretty cool to see. I mean, for him, the guy who lost, probably not so much. Because he went pars all the way through, so it's not like he blew up. It's just the guy played lights out. And then D-Flight, we came down to a 3-person playoff, which I've been wanting to have a multiple player playoff in a while. Like at one point this year, we almost had a 5-player playoff, which would have been pretty cool to have. But I think what was even better is the winner of D-Flight is a 15-year-old high school kid that won. So
that's awesome.
He came out.
We got to get him on.
Yeah, well,
got to get him on.
I'll talk with him about that.
Okay.
But he was excited, and the restaurant that we were in kind of blew up with cheers for him when he walked in, and and that's what it's all about, is giving credit where it's due, and giving him the chance of moving them up and all that fun stuff. So it was a good time. I was glad I was able to make it out to day 2 because it was a major. So day 1 I was at home and my assistants rocked it like they always do. And then day 2, was able to make it out there and do awards, take some pictures, all that fun stuff.
Well, I'm glad you got out there and you were feeling better, but you got to take care of yourself.
Right. And that's what everyone kept reminding me. So
yeah.
I would have tried to play if I could get out of bed, but that wasn't happening.
Well, it's a long season, so take it easy. Like I said, I'm heading out to Howey in the Hills, the Mission Resort for the Senior Regional this coming weekend, and we'll report back on that. We talked to Jeff Helbig last episode about the Shoals Regional. That's coming up in April, so if you haven't registered for that, I would get on it quick. But we got a good episode this week. Like, why do I say it all the time? Don't we always have good episodes? Do we ever not have good?
I mean, that's what everyone always says. Like when there's a sequel, it's the best sequel ever. Like, well,
exactly.
This is your fifth one, like Fast and the Furious. They're like, well, Fast and Furious 12. This is the best one ever. Well, it should be. I would hope so, because if it's not,
what are we gonna do?
Or like the iPhones and the iPads. This is the best one ever. I would hope so.
Well, I would hope so, because technology isn't getting worse. It's making us worse, but it's not getting worse. But that kind of is what it is. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I've been needing a new iPad for a little over a year.
Well, they just released the best one ever.
I know, that's what I hear. But I'm hoping that the one I've got will last, one more year till they release the real best one ever.
Right.
But we'll see. but I do need a new one. But the screen is cracked. The battery lasts probably about 20 minutes, so I've got to have it plugged in.
It's time. It's time.
It's time to go. But we'll see if I can hold it out for just a little bit longer.
What everybody says. What everybody says, and it crashes out for you when you're needing it the most, and then you're scrambling.
And then I get mad.
Yep.
Anyway, we've got we've got a really good episode. We're going to talk to a tour director. We've got our February Player of the Month, and we're going to talk about opportunity for somebody to win a set of Strixon irons.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's the first. This year we've had a lot of firsts for us, and this is going to be a first.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited.
Yeah, so hang in there with us, and let's go on this ride. But let's talk about our first guest a little bit. He's been around for a long, long time, and he's been running the senior tour in Augusta for I think 3 or 4 years now, taking over the Golfweek side of things, and getting that back on track to where it needs to be. But I'm really interested in talking to him and hearing some of his stories, especially he's a Marine veteran, and I know he's got some good stories about his time in the Marines and playing golf.
Yeah, I mean, you basically gave a great summary about it, but we've had great guests this year, so
we really have.
Let's just keep the tradition and the best one we've had so far, to go with everything else we talked about this one. But yeah, let's jump right into it. I'm excited.
All right, so let's go ahead and bring in our first guest of the show, the Augusta Senior and Golfweek Tour Director, Steve Kubik.
Welcome, man. Thank you. I appreciate that,
guys. Steve, what you've been around for a long time, 15 or 16 years. And so, you're not new to this. You've been the Senior Tour Director for Augusta for how long? 4 years?
Yeah, senior on the 4 years. Yep.
And now this year you're taking over for the Golfweek side. So you've got a long history with the tour. Let's start with Golfweek, because you just had your first tournament a few weeks ago. Tell us about that, because you were on a really good course.
Yeah, so we played Westlake. I have a good rapport with a lot of the golf courses, because obviously I do all the club repair in town for all the courses, as well as the mini tour players and some pros. So I got a lot of flexibility when it comes to scheduling, and most of the courses are very adaptive to my needs for the tour, so it makes it easier. And since Westlake's a semi-private golf course, we were able to do a 0.9 shotgun last Monday, or actually last Monday, a few days ago. We had 48 on the golf week, which it was good. It's going to grow as time goes on and the word gets out, publications and things of that nature. It's just getting back those veteran players that used to play and then getting their buddies. But it is, I can see it starting to take hold now, which is good. And then on this Monday coming up, we have the same event, except the senior side on the same golf course with a shotgun start. So that makes it a little easier for people getting out. So, but it's getting great traction. I mean, I think I just gained 3 or 4 more members for the senior side that were only playing golf week, but they're over 50. And they're like, right, we're going to do this again next week. I'm like, well, I need to just sign up and register. I think I'm almost 30-something dual membered right now.
You know, that's phenomenal, because, you know, that's you're guaranteed almost those 30 for each tournament. But let's just say 20 for each, right?
Yeah. Oh, 65%, I would say, because you got, you know, kids' birthdays, holidays,
right,
sons, things of that nature. So
right. So you, at least 20 per event, and again, it's getting those golf week guys back who may have dropped off for whatever reason. But Augusta has always been a hotbed for the tour, whether it's golf week or senior when you started that a few years ago.
Yeah, it was good, and you know, Mr. Phil, you know, I love him to death. I played on his tour for so many years, and it was simply phenomenal. I mean, we're a tight bit group of guys and girls here and golfers for the Augusta Tour, and so sad what had happened. And I'm just hoping I can bring it back up and honor Phil, and we keep this thing going, because he was a legend, and just like John Lavoti, those two are just legends in my eyes. I played for John too when he was at Myrtle.
Yeah, you know, I've told people this all the time. You know, Phil was one of my favorite people of all time. I mean, of all time. He just a wonderful human being, nice man, even keel, but you always knew where you stood with him, whether he was upset with you or not. He's the same thing, but you always knew where you stood, and he told you what he thought, and just an all time, you know, genuine person.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about. Let's start with the senior tour, for example. I mean, you got 162 members, so you're getting, you know, large fields out there. What's the favorite course that you guys are playing out there, and that really people should be coming out and playing if they can only go to one tournament?
Yeah, I get a lot of. I was shocked when I did my tournament results for Westlake on Monday on the golf week side, and I'm filling out the form, and it talks about, you know, what tours did you have players come from, and I've never put down 5 tours, and I had 5 different tours all the way from Vegas to, you know, to Charlotte.
Wow.
Columbia and Charleston. So I was like, wow, I never had to insert an extra line in this form here to put in a tour. I said, I seem like I'm getting a lot more work as bigger as I get.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, you know, because I try to tell everybody, I was like, hey, this isn't my tour. This is our tour. We are what makes it. I'm just, you know, trying to run things in the right directions and help everybody out, but it's our tour, you know. I said, so, and it was, but I get a lot of guys that are calling me from Tennessee and out of state that will have played in other events, and they're like, hey, Steve, we want to come down and play. What do you think? And they'll talk to me at the regionals too. And I'm like, well, you just, you know, give me a call, shoot me a text, whatever. And if you're going to be available, and I'll take, I mean, every tour has some good tracks, and you're going to have some mediocre tracks. And I'll be like, I'll make sure, you know, you want to play a Westlake, you want to play a River Club, you want to play Orangeburg Country Club, Parris Island, you know, Monticello, where Monaco Sorensen played. You know, you want to play all these really nice tracks that are very affordable. And then there's some that I'm not going to mention that are not as nice, and that's why the price is a little less. But at the same time, they're still really nice golf courses, and they do, you know, bend over backwards for us. So,
well, you mentioned Orangeburg, and I was a guest on another podcast last week. And, you know, now I've never played Orangeburg, but I know we've played there for years. When I say we, the tour's played there for years. and all I ever hear is great things about Orangeburg, great things about Orangeburg. And the host who I was talking to said, you know, he's from Columbia, and he said he's heard the same thing and has never played out there too. So I mean that just tells you something, that everybody's going to complain about some course, right?
Right.
I mean, nobody's going to like every course, but when you hear everybody saying good things about one course, that tells you something, that you really should make some time to go out and give that a shot.
Yeah, Orangeburg is really good. I mean, it's just the way it is and the way it handles itself. I mean, obviously Tim knows a lot more because he deals with the head guy there, which is JP. But it's just when it comes up, and we're going to do a combo event there, and then I'm going to run the combo event on the Parris Island side with Tim. But when it comes up for Orangeburg, I'll tell you, from the Augusta Tour, we're going to have 25 to 30 that'll sign up for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's to me that's a must go play. You really need to be there, and again, you bring up Tim and Parris Island, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up, because you know how I feel about it anyway. Marine veteran, thank you so much for what you do and what you've done, and you're a true testament of what we look for from a tour director. I mean, you bring the skills and those mentalities from being a Marine over to the tour, and it really does show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said, if I shout out to one course, if you have to go play one, go play Parris Island. When we have our tournament down there, get signed up, or just if you're down in the Hilton Head area, Beaufort, you got to play Parris Island. It is phenomenal. And they just completed the All Armed Forces Championship there just literally 4 days ago.
Wow.
We're ready to head over to South America or South Africa for the CISM World Military.
Wow.
Yeah, that course is unbelievable.
That's impressive. And I haven't heard anybody, again, I haven't heard anybody say that about Parris Island, but I haven't heard anything bad either. But so, Chris, that's something that we need to make sure that we keep an eye on.
Yeah.
That Parris Island tournament.
I mean, usually, like me and, everybody knows Chris Martinez, and that's why I'm trying to grow this. I'm trying to get my numbers to his numbers. We're both Marines. We both played on the armed forces together, and we both played on the Marine golf team together. And I'm just, he's been doing it a lot longer than me. We both have a club repair business, both in two different cities. We both know the same guy. So if I can get his numbers, that would be crazy. But that's also a lot of work. Thank God he has, his wife Patina's there to help him and all his friends. But yeah, Parris Island, when we come down for nationals, we usually have our own little get together at Parris Island the day prior. And we usually have 20 to 35 guys playing, a side little money game at Parris Island because it's that nice of a golf course.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What are another course that you have on the schedule, which I love a lot, are the ones in Savannah Lakes?
Yep, Ontario. Yep.
Those are, to me, those are hidden gems.
They are. Monticello, I would say, is the nicer of the two.
Yeah.
Both of them are extremely. They'll give you all the testaments you want. You may see a nice little short par 4, and then the next thing you know, you just made double bogey. So it's yeah, it's nice, very deceiving, hilly, but beautiful tracks. And the director of golf out there and the head pro, he's phenomenal. I mean, when he took over, I think he started 2 or 3 years ago, the new one that replaced him. But I called up to put a tournament on, and he's like, yeah, he says, well, why don't you come out and play? I'm like, dude, I've already played these courses already numerous times, but okay, I'll come up and play with you, sure. So, but it's, those two are really nice track. It's almost like Oconee, except for Oconee's not Pinehurst. Oconee's a different breed. Oconee's there are so many beautiful golf courses at Oconee. If we had to say, if we had anything kind of like that, it would be the Monticello Terre, the Savannah Lakes, those two golf courses kept up really nice shape. Oconee's beautiful, though, don't get me wrong. Nothing, only Pinehurst can compare to Oconee, that little subdivision area, and they're on their own, but Oconee's beautiful.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And I think if the Monticello the Savannah Lakes courses had a little bit more around, that would be a good regional.
That's right.
That would be
have much to offer.
Yep. So I mean, there's when we did a 2-day there last year, obviously we did Airbnb, and you can find some deals there, but there's really no place to go out and eat.
No. You're 30 minutes away from everywhere, minimum 3 minutes.
Yeah. So, but again, if it was a little bit more built up, that would be, I think that would be a great place to have a regional. Those two courses do rival, some of the ones that are in Oconee, which like you said, again, beautiful, phenomenal. Hopefully we can get back there real soon. Yeah,
I did Harbor Club last year, and it was the first one I did as a tour director out there in the Oconee area, and those guys were great. And of course, Harbor Club was always a treat as well. So
yeah, Harbor Club's phenomenal. Again, that's a private course out there. To be able to get on that, Steve, I don't know if you know this, but a couple years ago, we were Atlanta and Augusta was doing a joint event.
Oh, I remember. I played in that. I think you told me to get to the tee box. I teed off earlier. You moved me up like 3 different tee boxes. You remember that?
I would just pull up. I mean, nobody could get to the course, Chris. There was a storm. Trees were down everywhere. Oh man, and everybody made it, but 2 people, which I thought was phenomenal. But we had champ A and D players playing together. There was some threesomes, there was some foursomes. It was a mess. But again, Harbor Club worked with us. They obviously they understood that people couldn't get there, but again, great course. Now, on the let's talk about the playing side. Chris, what do you think Steve's index is? I'm gonna pull up the senior index. I'm looking at his.
You don't want to look up no indexes.
I'm looking. It's too late.
I'm gonna say a 5 to 7.
Okay, his Golfweek index is a 2.8.
Wow.
Yeah, a triple bogey will kill you, man.
See. So Steve can play. Steve, when did you get good? I mean, did you always have the talent? And
no. Actually, you would be shocked, but I actually didn't pick up golf until 1998. I was in the Marine Corps. I just got selected for warrant officer, and I met a really good friend of mine, my best friend, who's coming in town tomorrow to play my tournament. He's coming in town from his name's Tony Iverson, and obviously Chris Martinez. We're all at Camp Lejeune together, and a bunch of other guys. And I didn't start golf until 1998, and I just kept on wearing it out. And then, we went overseas to Okinawa. And we played in some money games, and we had a rule over there: but you don't get strokes over there. You play what it is. If you're a 10 and you play as someone that's a 3 handicap, well, play harder. So either you learn to play or you learn to pay. And I learned to play for a while. I was able to get that handicap down and then start competing with guys like Marty and Tony. And then, they made the, they made the all-Marine golf team before I did. And so I was like, well, man, that's kind of cool. So I just kept on going, never had a lesson, and just kept plugging away at it. Playing with better players makes you play better.
So you've never had a lesson?
Well, technically, I think I had my first lesson was about 3 years ago with the head pro at Parris Island. Really great. My best friend, Andy Henson. I got down there before a tournament one day, and about a couple hours ago, I'm like, I've never had a lesson, but you owe me a lot of favors, so you need to give me a bunker lesson right now. I can get out of the bunker, but got no chance of getting within even a halfway decent. So we spent about 30 minutes, and that was about it.
Man.
I just deal with it. Whatever works.
Right. Well, Chris, his senior index is 3.3. So,
I like longer distances. I mean, the senior tour is fun, but I hit driver, I think at nationals, maybe in the icebreaker. I'm sorry. I think I hit driver 3 times in 2 days. People say if you hit it straight, but when it goes farther, straighter's not always better. There's still water.
I understand.
So, So I was shocked, though. I mean, it was the first time I played a GWAT event in, I don't know.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah. So I was kind of scared after, I think around the 9th hole. I just happened to look because my buddy next to me who was playing, he said, yeah, we're both in first, and he's in A flight and I was in champ. And I was like, huh. Didn't expect that, looking at the college kids and these other young guns, that in. And so when I left the table after I hit live and got everybody on live score, and I left the table, I was putting my shoes on, walking to the tee box, and so I lay hit, and I kind of did the old stretch and hit a 3-wood down there, and then we started from there. There was no range when I play, so I sit.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah. So, but it was good. But that brings a good point up that I do want to know. So you guys know, and we talked about this before. I think down at Nationals after the hurricane, obviously Helene. That's probably going to be getting members. I don't think is my biggest challenge anymore. I think more the biggest challenge is the course conditions that we have to play and the rules that I have to establish. And then, of course, that's going to tie into the tournament committee and how things are viewed if someone goes too low. Even though I do vet I call every new player. If they don't have an index, I call them and we discuss their scores and where they play, what tee boxes. But we have a lot of mulch piles. We have debris to be removed. Then you have stuff that's not debris to be removed, tracks all over the place from skid steers and everything else. And this is even at Westlake just the other day. So that's going to be probably my biggest challenge probably this year.
Wow. Maybe
not so much at Monticello and Terra. They didn't get probably hit as bad, if I remember correctly, as the ones right here in the Evans area. Parris Island, no, is fine. I don't know about Orangeburg. Tim would know that, but that's going to be my biggest track. Is every golf course lost 1,000 trees plus. So, but no greens will hurt. It's just so much damage that the rules are, you have to be careful.
That's something I didn't even think about because it's. Hurricanes came through in September, October.
Yep.
And when you're not directly affected by it, now obviously we still hear about things that are going up in Western North Carolina and all those problems that they're dealing with, but people don't realize how bad the Augusta area got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got hit pretty good. I'm not going to lie. They just did our final debris pickup this
man.
And there's still so much stuff out there that hasn't been picked up, so I don't know what they're doing. But it's the courses, though. The courses are playable. That's the good thing. Like I said, no greens were hit. I mean, we lost some bathrooms on some courses. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing there but a water pipe sticking up on a private golf course or semi-private. But they're all playable. They're looking good. The putting greens and the ranges, everything's fine. It's just a matter of the playing conditions. And I actually reached out to every one of them, and I got replies from them all. I did it about, I guess, 3 to 4 weeks ago. I wanted to make sure I was going to give some accurate data to Dennis for the database. Right. And I said, hey, is this going to change your index and slope based on accreditation? And they said, nope, everything is the same. And I'm like, okay. So they're not going to do any reaccreditation early. They're going to wait for the original schedule that they're on, which is every so many years, every course gets reaccredited. Right. The slope index. So we're just going to go with it.
Well, good luck with that. Again, it's people don't think about it, and we just go on back about our regular lives. When I was driving back and forth to Atlanta, and this was even in December, I would stop at the same gas station in Metter to get gas, and talking to the lady who runs the shop there, and this was in December. She said that she still hadn't gotten power back yet.
Wow.
So it was again a lot worse than people realize.
Oh yeah, we were
that area.
I was 11 days. I mean, I have a generator. I wired it into my house, so we were good. But and then when they started picking up all the debris, of course, they would knock out more power because they'd be swinging those debris trucks around with the hooks.
Right.
Numerous times power got knocked out or cable on top of it because they're doing damage, but they're trying to get the stuff cleaned up as well. So,
right. And
at least they're being safe about it. So,
again, God bless you. Hopefully things from my guess is everybody's at least back online. Now just get the courses back to playable. First world problems.
The debris is debris right of the cart path on the right side or left of the cart path on the left side. So if you hit it over there, you're on your own anyway. So
right, exactly.
You got to find your golf ball, and if you don't find it, you just can't say, "Oh yeah, I went inside this little pile of mulch or this thing." It's like, all right, now So I didn't make that rule. I'm like, you have to find your ball. Or you go back and re-tee as a loss.
I'm just going back because I'm not digging through that because you don't know what's going to be in there.
Yeah, now's not a bad time, but give it about 2 months and you don't want to be digging in no piles.
I'm not digging in it. Nope, not happening. Not happening. So, Chris, do you have any questions for Steve about your favorite course
besides Augusta National?
Oh, Augusta National, yeah.
So I haven't been out there yet. I'll go out about 5 days before the Masters. I'll go out, obviously, because I work out there. So as gallery, and I'll go out and do some setups and stuff. But I haven't seen the course. I've heard some information from friends of mine that work out there, but I'm interested to see. I hear, you always hear some stuff, and then when you get out, you're like, that's not what I was told.
Right.
So I don't really relay anything on anybody else because until I see it with my own eyes or hear it from a credible person, I'm not going to relay some things I've heard. There's so many trees that were down, or they're not putting the trees back up in certain areas. Augusta National does whatever Augusta National needs to do.
Exactly. That's true. That's true. So do you know about the argument that Chris and I have about the majors?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I say that the Masters is not the best major of the four.
To watch or to be at?
Either.
I mean, to watch, I'll tell you right now, I love the British Open and I love the U.S. Open. I think every guy whose wife is not a golfer, she'll watch those two because those guys get put through hell. And that's what I love about the women. Like it when they struggle, when they can't break. So those are always nice. The U.S. Open and the British Open, when the wind and the rain. No, the Masters is phenomenal. I'm not going to lie. It is.
Yeah.
It's a different event. It's not like any other major, though. I played the old course. Trust me, I've played over there. So it is not like any other major, though. Think of it. I mean, I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble because I work out there. So it's just the Masters is the Masters.
The Masters is the Masters. We'll leave it at that.
Period.
So, but for me, the Masters is awesome, right? But to me, the best major is U.S. Open, right? It's our national championship. It's our national championship. Yep. It's an Open, and the winner is crowned on Father's Day. Yep. That to me is why is my favorite because most of us got involved with golf primarily because of our fathers, and it's our national championship that and for me it's that pride. It's those things.
And also the U.S. Open, there's actually a qualifier, so an amateur can go play in that as well. Right. Just like the senior U.S. Open, right. Which one of my members, as a matter of fact, played in it last year up in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And I thought he was going to do good because he kicks the crap out of me every time. I haven't beat him yet. I think I've been playing with him for 5. He's my nemesis. Been playing with him for like.
Well, I was going to ask you how you play when you play against Brian.
I don't even have to say a name, and you already know who it is.
I know who it is.
Yeah, Brian Quackenbush, phenomenal player, absolutely phenomenal,
and good dude too.
Yes, very good, big tireless guy like myself. But he told me he says that was the nastiest rough he ever saw up there. He said it was bad. So he was hoping that he got paired with, some really cool, like legends of golf up there in the Senior Open as an amateur. But I remember. As a matter of fact, it was that major that we were doing down there at not Harbor Club, the other one down there in Oconee. Today. Yeah. And I was sitting there getting ready to hit balls because you go down that little that hill down there to the right to the range, and where you take the shuttle. And anyways, Brian's sitting over there, and he's got this like 9. Or TS driver, and my buddy Tony's there with me, and I'm looking over at his driver, and it's just sitting there. He didn't hesitate. He's hitting his irons right. So I go and he knows what I do. I helped him on his clubs, and I grab his driver, and I'm not kidding you. You see the putter on a pro, how they got like a little dime sweet spot and all that. That's what he had on a driver. I mean, I'm just like, you got to be kidding me, Brian. I'm like, he flushes it, but he is. I mean. There's a few guys around Augusta that have won, but I mean, he's won the Augusta City Amateur twice against the collegiate players and everything. And I tried to make my reign as far as I could until he hit 50. So, but no, I love him to death. He's a great player. Now it pushes me too.
Yeah. Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. I know you're going to keep doing good things in Augusta.
Thanks, guys.
And I know that our paths will cross this year. So
yeah.
Keep it up, bud. All right. So you take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. I'll see both of you guys. Appreciate both you guys and everything you guys do for the tour. Thank you.
Let's take a break from the show to hear about Srixon's ZX Mark II drivers.
ZX Mark II drivers are for major players, major winners, major power. All new ZX Mark II drivers, only from Srixon.
Tim, great conversation with Steve. It's cool to meet people that are, and I know I squeak, so apologize for that. Anybody that's doing it loud in the car, but it's cool to meet all these people from around the tour and just get to know everybody. Regardless of whether you're tour director, member, you name it. We just have so many cool people on tour that it's fun to have these conversations with.
Yeah, it really is. And he talked a little bit about his time in the Marines and playing golf on the Marine golf team. But what he and Marty did, Marty, the Eastern North Carolina Tour Director, did for the Marine golf team, when they were stationed at Camp Lejeune, was incredible. Introducing people to the game of golf, taking them around to different tournaments and those types of things, and how they touch other people's lives just through golf. Even though some of those people aren't on the tour, it just introducing them to the game and giving them those experiences is really says a lot about who they are as individuals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just, we touched about it. Excuse me. We touched about it, during our memorial special and all that. But just to hear these stories again is just, it's a fun listen. And everybody, I'm pretty sure, has stories, whether it is military related or just golf related or just life related, that you wouldn't realize but could also affect your life in ways that you don't think about it until you actually have to.
Anyway, looking forward to seeing Steve, throughout the year. He does a great job with the senior side, and I know he's going to get the Golfweek side back to where it needs to be. They're on some really good courses. He talked about them. Orangeburg. You got to go to Parris Island, play there, and some of those other places that he mentioned. But I know he's going to do great things, and looking forward to seeing him throughout the year.
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully I'll see him on the grounds of Augusta one day.
Well, it's possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep pulling that thread until it unravels, because trying to win that lottery, you probably have a better chance winning the actual lottery than that one.
Oh, hey, probably. Actually, speaking of Augusta, obviously I got to go one time with tickets that Dennis gave us, but it also got to go because the Master Chief, Ken, he got tickets and was unable to go, and he gave them to me one year, and so we got to go. So I've been twice, but he got the tickets because he was former military, and
nice.
so they give. I don't know how that works, but I think it's a lottery system as well, that you enter as a veteran, or don't quote me on that. I don't know how it works, but he got him specifically because he was a veteran, or retired veteran, and he couldn't go. He got 4 tickets, and
right. It's got to be something like that, because I know when Billy went last year, it's because he won the VGA National Championship, and they invited him to go out and for a couple of days, and then do an event for the VGA at another course. I think that's Saturday. So he was able to go out there. But I mean, for this guy to be able to get to play every year, it seems like that's just cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, anyway, let's move on because we've got our February Player of the Month, and this guy, he means so much to the tour.
I mean,
he's been on.
Let's put it this way. You know, we had this. We switched up our contest because we wanted to highlight, what is it, 8 members that, I mean, I guess you could say are like that show Golf Week and what we look for in you know, the best members. So it's pretty cool that
what truly exudes what we are as a tour,
right?
I mean, because we've got 6,000 members and they're all great.
Right.
And, you know, we need to make sure that they know how much we appreciate them and what they mean to us as in the tour.
Right.
And, I wish we could honor all 6,000 plus, but this is a way that we can actually highlight some members from across the country that are being nominated by their tour director as people that they truly view as standouts and assets to the local tour and the tour as a whole.
Yeah, completely. And it's exciting that we get to get it started now.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and welcome in our next guest, the February Player of the Month. I don't think he can hear this, so because it's supposed to be a surprise for him. But we welcome in our.
That's a good point. Hopefully he can.
But Chris, I'm going to help.
We need to figure this out.
I know. It's like we've never done this before, right? But oh my gosh, I just get so excited. I'm like, you know, JoJo the circus clown, and but oh, good gosh. Let's go ahead and welcome in our next guest. Let's just leave it at our next guest, and hope God he can't hear us. Let's go ahead and welcome in our next guest, the Mayor of Hilton Head, John Robinson. JR, welcome to the show, bud. And I've been doing this for how long, and we still can't get it right. JR, welcome back, bud. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you guys too.
You know, Chris, I didn't mention this to you, but you know, when we look back, so this is like our 67th or 68th episode, and we look back at the people that we've had on. JR, I think there's only one person that's been on more than you, and that's Roger, with Roger's Rules. I love having you on for any number of different reasons. I mean, you love the tour. You're so insightful about everything, especially the island, and you give everybody great information. But I got to tell you something. You know, a couple weeks ago, I was just kind of doing some research on Hilton Head, you know, for some other stuff that I'm doing, and I came across your podcast that you did for the Realty Group, and I watched that. And they did an okay job. I mean, you know, but you know, one of the things, you know, you talked about was where to go eat. And when you started talking about lunch, I said, before he said it, he says he's going to go to Stu's and get that sub. For those that don't know, when you're down here, Chris, you got to go to Stu's because that bread, you know, you can say you're going to get a small sub, but you're going to go for the big sub and you're going to eat it because that bread is so good. Am I right or not?
Well, you know, a sub is a sub, but it's really not. You know, what's inside of a sub is all the same. It's either lettuce, tomato, onion, meat, ham, turkey, cheese, mayo, mustard. That's it. You know, some other things. But what really makes it is either the sub roll or the bread or the wrap. That's really what makes it. And if you want the island's, Hilton Head's best sub, you go to Stu's Sub Shop down in Caligny Plaza near the beach.
I think I went there this past year. I think you told me to go there, Tim.
Yeah, you have to.
Phenomenal.
You have
phenomenal.
To.
Yeah, it's, you know, when I go, I usually get the wrap version, but I tell you what, it's, if you get the sub with the sub roll, it's there's no other.
Okay. That bread is that thick, and it's soft, and it tastes so good. It's can't beat it. Can't beat it. John, you can't. Why are you going and getting a wrap when you can have that bread?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because when I go to get something, a sub or a wrap, it's usually a wrap because I'm taking it on the golf course, and they roll it tight so you can put it in your golf bag. And sometimes I bring a few extras to give to the guys I'm playing with.
But okay, I'll give you some slack on that one then, because if you get the sub number one, you can't take that to play golf, and number two, if you eat it, it's nap time after that.
Exactly, yeah. But the wrap, maybe have half of it when you're playing golf, and the other half, when you're done. It's at least now somehow we're turning talk of Stu Sub Shop, and we're turning it into golf. So
we are
a golf chat. So
So anyway, John, when I text you, I said we had something for you, and I'm not sure how much you know, but our contest this year, it's not a shirt contest. We're looking for members who truly exemplify what we're looking for in our tour members. And I got to read you something about somebody that sent something in about you, and this is why I wanted to have you on. And I'm going to read it pretty much verbatim, although I may leave out a couple of words, but this is pretty much what he says. He says, JR truly epitomizes the member that every tour wants. He loves the tour, promotes the tour, plays somewhere every week. Players request all the time to play in his group. This is my favorite. He's not afraid to gamble while playing, especially with Andres Lopez as his partner. Is that true? Is that true?
That you better believe it.
He plays both on the Hilton Head Golfweek Tour and the Coastal Georgia Senior Tour. He posts everything about the tour that he possibly can on all social media platforms. He plays in a ton of regionals every year, always plays in nationals, donates a ton of money to the V Foundation charity raffles, which we thank you so much for. Really do appreciate it. And maybe we could talk about why here in just a second. He's been a sponsor of the tour. He's been a sponsor of the local Hilton Head Tour. He knows everything and everybody on Hilton Head Island. And you came here to Hilton Head as a golf pro, as a tennis pro, and golf came second.
That's right.
And so what we wanted to tell you is you are the February tour member, national tour member of the month.
Well, I'm honored. I sort of wondered what our topic was today, and that's a beautiful surprise. You going to tell me who sent that in?
I think you can guess. So how it works is the tour director, all the tour directors are taking charge of this, and they're nominating people throughout the season, from their tour. So Dennis submitted this, and I actually had a nice long conversation with him today, and we talked about you and how appreciative both he and me and Chris are that you're a member of the tour and that you're so willing and giving of your time to the tour. It really is special.
Well, I appreciate this very much. It's almost for what we do, it's almost like getting an Academy Award, and it is. I tell you, it is a nice surprise to hear this, and I just almost speechless. The things that he wrote are true. The truest comment was, "Yeah, I'll bet you any amount of money as long as Andres Lopez is my partner, and he'll usually roll it in for a birdie, and we're both collecting money." So that's how it works. Occasionally, I'll put one in for a par to free him up, but that's my contribution. But I tell you, in some of our other conversations that we've had together about the tour and about golf, it's all the same as far as I'm concerned. This is the I don't want to say the coolest, but it's the coolest thing I do is play this tour. And if when I have to miss a tournament that's on our schedule, I don't like it when I can't play one of the tournaments, partially because I want to support Dennis and support the tour. And support the winner of my flight, because we all put the extra money, for whoever's going to win. So, but I look forward to it, to playing. We have a tournament coming up on Monday at Savannah Quarters Country Club, which unfortunately I can't play. It's one of the few that I can't play, partially because a few of us are taking a trip down to Florida for, just a little golf trip.
Nice. And
it just happened that these Friday to Monday were the best days that we could do it. So we're going to have to miss Savannah Quarters, but I'll be at the next one. I think it's Oldfield Country Club. So
hey, you don't want to miss that one.
That.
Yeah. So, I did mention that you donate a lot of money to the Jimmy V Foundation. Do you want to share why that's so important to you?
Two reasons. One, it's the charitable function that Dennis McCormick, who's our, he's the national tour director, but he's also the Hilton Head Savannah Tour Director. That's the one he chose for various reasons. There's reasons why he chose that charity for us to promote. And my father succumbed to cancer, 8-9 years ago. And, everything I do, I think of my father. He was a great golfer. And every time I put on my tailor-made hat to go tee it up, I think of my dad. And because he loved to play so much. In fact, he played in an amateur tour also. I think it was called Tournament Players Association or something like that. This was years ago, but he played in a very similar amateur tour that I'm playing in, the Golfweek Amateur Tour. And so I think of him every time I tee it up. In fact, every time I actually tee it up, I do, and only maybe 2 people in the world know that I do this. But now everyone's going to know I do this, because I'm going to tell you what I do. Every time I tee up the ball, 18 times I'll tee it up. And when I put the tee in the ground and then I put the ball on top of the tee, then I'll touch the grass with my hands, just with my fingers, just touching the grass. And the whole purpose for that, just touching the grass, is to remind myself how great of a sport it is, and that my father loved it too. And it's really just my way of reminding myself that my dad is still with me playing golf. So
that's awesome. And Chris, go ahead. I got to collect my thoughts on that. I mean, that's
right. No, it's deep. I mean,
Tim, I didn't overtake you, Tim. I have that way about it, but
you did, and I'm glad that you did. Sorry, Chris. I'm going to interrupt you, but I had a couple of things that have happened, to me over the last, let's just say 48 hours. One that really reminded me of my father, which is again why most of us get into playing golf. And the other one, I'm interviewing for the other podcast I do, JR. We talk about, I help people become better communicators. And I'm actually interviewing one of the play-by-play announcers for Kansas City Royals tomorrow. And I was reading in one of his books, and basically he talked about his grandfather and who his grandfather was to him. And literally, this was about an hour ago. I read that part in the book, and I broke out in alligator tears, because what he was saying about his grandfather was exactly my wife's grandfather. That was his same philosophy, his same who he was. And he was the first person to welcome me into Jen's side of the family. So those people that know me that, I'm an emotional person. It happens, and I'm okay with it. So John, it is what it is. Go ahead, Chris. You're up now.
You're
Top
fine.
that. Top that.
You're right. I don't think I can, but I mean, like you say it all the time. 95% of us, our fathers got us into golf. So when we bring it up or we have those memories, I think it touches a little bit of everybody's heartstrings. I mean, I lost my father, and I remember golfing with him till his final days that he could, and got into golf because of him. Granted, it was a little later in my life, but I think I got into it because I knew those would be the times that I'd be able to spend with just him, out in nature and not having to worry about whatever, maybe going to the movies or whatever. Like it's just you and him, and you just hanging out. So it touches everyone's heart. And now that I have little ones that want to start playing golf, it's like, okay, now I get to give them what I was able to experience for 5, 6, 7 years of his life. So, that is pretty cool. Next time I'm golfing with you, though, I'm going to watch for it.
You got 18 chances. But I tell you, I think when we're little kids, fathers typically, they'll coach your teams, baseball, basketball, football. Right. And then, so dads were sort of built-in coaches, all your teenage years, and then, maybe into your 20s. But, a dad is always your coach, no matter how old you are. And so anyway, our tournaments, whenever Dennis, has a raffle, then, there's no question. There's no question. And I've been lucky enough to win a few of them. But even if I don't win, I'm just glad that money's raised and it's gone for a great cause. And I'm glad for whoever wins. So it's just great that we're all out there playing golf and supporting and just right. Being there together and doing our best.
No, I mean, to go back to your coaching, my very first Golfweek event as a member, I think I was on the range hitting hosel rockets every shot. And it's like, okay, let me call my dad and see what's going on. I'm so nervous here. Maybe he has advice. And I mean, that's the first person you think about calling. So, you're right. They're not just a life coach. They're an everything coach at that point.
Right. Everything. No matter how old you are. You never grow out of that.
Exactly.
But I very much appreciate this special ceremony, I guess you could call it. But it really it's pretty cool, and it really means a lot to me.
Well, you mean so much to the tour, and we're exactly a month out from one of the best weekends of the year, one of the best weeks of the year. The RBC is coming up here.
I thought you were going to say the Masters.
Don't start. Why start cause problems? We're having a good moment here, and you want to cause problems. So what advice do you have for people coming in to one of the best weeks of the year on the island?
Are you talking about for people coming to Hilton Head during that week?
During that week, yep.
Well, I tell you what, it's turned into, I've been on Hilton Head for 35 years, and the first 10, 12 years, I was a tennis pro, and so everything was tennis. But one of the greatest weeks of the year in tennis was the Family Circle Magazine Cup, which is no longer, here in Hilton Head. It went to Charleston, and there's a different name. I think it's called the City Open or something. But we had a women's professional tennis tournament on Hilton Head for 30-some or 40 or 50-some years. And it was the week before, the Heritage. So it was 2 weeks of amazing professional sports. But then the tennis tournament went to Charleston. So it's all been focused on the Heritage now. And the very first Heritage tournament was 1969. Arnold Palmer won that first event. Jack Nicklaus was course designer with Pete Dye at the Harbortown Golf Links. of course, Jack was in that first tournament, and I'm sure many more after that. And we've had some of the greatest players in the history of golf win our tournament since 1969. The negative, I guess, for our tournament, not a negative, but it made it tough, was our tournament, the RBC Heritage. It used to be called the MCI Heritage, but now it's the RBC Heritage. But it's for many years it was tough to get the greatest players to come, because our tournament was literally the week after the Masters, and oftentimes some of the greatest players would skip the next week after such a mentally draining week, at one of the majors. So the following week was us here in Hilton Head. So, and we had great players come and win our tournament, like Davis Love III won it many times. Boo Weekley won it, I think twice. But we had some great champions back in the day. But in the last few years, the PGA, I guess, has created, has made this tournament one of the top tournaments in on the schedule. So we have players like Jordan Spieth, and we have players like Scotty Scheffler, and we have players like Rory McIlroy, and all the greatest players you can imagine. So it's probably the best week of the year for an event. We just had our Hilton Head St. Patrick's Day parade, although it was canceled due to rain. But that's usually one of the top days of the year for locals, for islanders, and for visitors here during this week, actually. But the Heritage, which is this year, it's April 14th to the 21st, I believe, or the 20th. And it's the beginning of spring. It's still spring break time for high school kids, I believe. It's close to Easter, and the weather is turning nice, and it's sort of the beginning of a beautiful season here in Hilton Head every year, and we have some legends coming this year, just like the last few years. And I'll tell you, if you do get a chance to get a ticket to go one of the days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's a tremendous opportunity to look at one of the prettiest golf courses in the world, and watch some of the best golfers compete on a narrow course with some of the smallest greens on the PGA Tour. And if you've had a chance to play Harbor Town, it's difficult, but it's an absolute pleasure to play. Although it's a little bit tougher. I think one of the toughest shots for me is the second shot on number 18. I don't hit it real long, but especially if it's breezy coming off the Calabogie Sound, along the fairway of the 18th, hitting that second shot is, I think, one of the most daunting shots there is, with the marsh on the left and short. And most players bail out right, and then chip up, hoping to par it. But it's one of the prettiest golf courses on the planet.
But this year it's going to be a little bit difficult. I always got tickets from Jay, and we'd be right there on the 18th and watching. With Jay not with us anymore, it's going to be a little bit different there. But a couple years ago, when the playoff with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jordan Spieth, they played that hole 3 or 4 times, and the shot that Ryan Fitzpatrick hit in there, so close for birdie to win it, was amazing. And like you said, John, if you've not actually ever been there and seen how difficult that shot is, that's a tough shot.
He put it within 6 feet, didn't he?
Yeah,
it's amazing. These guys can hit their drivers, 300 plus yards. So I don't know what they have coming into that, but still, that's a tough, because when you're in the fairway looking at that green, from the TV tower, from the TV tower, what you see on TV, it may not really show you how difficult it looks, but the second shot, and Chris, do you agree with that? When you're playing Harbor Town, the second shot, it's almost like there's nothing behind the green. there's water and boats, behind the green, and to the left of the green, it's almost like a peninsula green. If you hit it left of the green, then you're in, an area where water comes up and down. It's sort of like it's the edge of the Calabogie Sound right there. So but then you see on the right side, you see all the green fairway. So it's so easy to bail it out right. And it's not a bad chip. It's not a real difficult chip. The green is fairly flat, although there's some little moguls to the right of the green if you have to chip from the right side. But if you're left or if you're short, then you're in trouble. If you're short, you're in real trouble.
Big trouble. Yeah.
Mhm.
Big trouble. If you're left, you're in trouble. If you're short, you're in big trouble, because then you get a long drop, So anyway, I just think it's, for those who are coming to Hilton Head, and if you get a ticket or two to the Heritage anytime, this year, next year, then, put on some springtime clothes. There's a lot of pink and yellow and light blue out there that week. There's a lot of neat southern hats. A lot of the ladies are wearing hats. Everybody's carrying a drink, either a bottled water or something else. Uh-huh. And there's many spots, just like PGA tournaments all over the country. There's many spots to have fun other than watching golf. There's some things, tents and little booths to purchase golf apparel and neat things from the sponsors, all kinds of food. And it's just a great place to be for that week in April every year.
Yeah, and don't come to try and get any work done, because it's not going to happen.
No. Yeah, I tell you. And then afterwards, what do you do after the tournament's over and when you leave? Historically, there is a legendary restaurant right there at the bottom of the lighthouse, the red and white lighthouse, the very bottom of it. Years and years ago, there were two of them. One was called the Quarter Deck, which is still there. And then the other one was called Cafe Europa. Do you guys remember Cafe Europa?
No.
Long time ago. That was at the bottom of the lighthouse, but that's gone. And the Quarter Deck has since rebuilt their bar restaurant to one of the most beautiful restaurants on Hilton Head, with viewing the water and the marina and the golf course, and it's 2 levels. But historically, years and years ago, after the golf, you would just head over to Quarter Deck and stay there all night. You probably wouldn't be eating, you'd be drinking, and you might see some of the golfers come in there too. So there's lots of places in Harbor Town to go to after the tournament. If you're there Thursday or Friday or Saturday afterwards, you head over to CQ's for some nice dinner, or you head over to the Quarter Deck. It's much bigger now, so there's a lot of room. Or there's a Crazy Crab, which is in Harbor Town Marina. Great seafood and real fun. It's a great family place. And then there's other places in Sea Pines, and then right out the front gate, there's more places. One of my favorite is the Char Bar. I love going to the Char Bar, which is right out of the front gate of Sea Pines. So there's after the golf, there's all kinds of fun things to do.
Yeah, there really is. Jerry, we stay in the motor coach resort, and there's a few golfers that stay in there too.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I did hear that. Doesn't Spieth have an RV?
He does. Yes,
that's what I heard. Yeah,
yeah.
Does he stay there?
He. I don't think he did last year, but he definitely did the year before. I know somebody
Jason Day as well, does he?
Yeah, actually, there's a rumor going around that Jason Day bought a lot. I don't know if that's true.
Oh yeah.
I know somebody who was stalking Jordan Spieth had to kind of rein her in a little bit.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Wasn't me.
So, well, JR, thank you so much for who you are and what you bring for the tour. I can't thank you enough for all of that. You're such a good, rich personality, and we are so lucky to have you part of the family.
Well, I very much appreciate it, guys, and I love coming on your show and talking to you about golf. There's nothing better than that, and Yeah, I was last night. I was talking. I met somebody, and I was telling him all about the Golfweek Amateur Tour, and he didn't know anything about it, but he sure does now. And,
Good.
So I think it's great, and what you guys do is just sort of really supports the tour and gets the word out. And I'm just tickled that I know you guys and that I've been a guest on your show. So hopefully there's more times coming this year.
Well, I'm hoping that we could find some way to have a JR's named segment. That's kind of what I'm searching for. We've got Rogers rules. We need something for you. Let's put our heads
when
together.
we get closer to nationals, because I think you have so much information that you could give everybody that's visiting, especially for their first time. I mean,
that's true. Let's put something together.
Let's do it.
I'd love to do that.
All right, buddy. Well, again, thanks so much, and I do need to see you more than just on here and passing at a tournament.
Well, I saw you at the Icebreaker in January.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, but we need to probably meet at Stu's or.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we'll go get a wrap, and then we'll go to Char Bar for a drink.
All right. All right. We can do that. Definitely for sure. All right, bud. You take care of yourself, John.
Good seeing you guys.
All right.
Let's take a break from the show to hear about Srixon's ZX Mark II irons.
A great iron set needs more than good looks. It's got to be fast and got to be pure. But good looks never hurt either. The all-new ZX Mark II irons from Srixon.
Such a cool time talking with JR. We do need to get him on more because he just has so much knowledge of the island. The sub sandwich place I text you about to go take my wife somewhere special to eat, because there's only so many places that I've been to that I go every year, and man, what a home run that place was. It was. I almost ordered another sub and had to hold back because I could have gone for two. It was good.
I love it, man. It is so good. Oh my god.
And their soup. I got a soup too, a cup of soup.
Yeah.
Man, it was stellar. So, if you do go to nationals or anytime you go to the island, go to that place because it's top notch.
Well, after we did the call, and we're kind of giving away how we do this, but after we did the call, I told Jen, we got a friend in town. I said, take him over to Stu's for lunch. And then Jen and I have a meeting at 6:00 tonight. And I said, what are we going to do about dinner? Because the meeting is going to go from like 6 to 9. I said, it's not really going to work for me. They didn't check with me, when they scheduled the meeting. I said, what are we going to do for dinner? And she said, I don't know. I said, well, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to Stu's, and I want you to, I'll eat a sub. And she said, you eat a sub right in the middle of the meeting? I said, hell yeah, I'm going to eat a sub right in the middle of the meeting. And I'm going to make noises. I'm going to make the oh, it's so good noises. And she said, well, you sit up front. I said, yeah, I do. And you're going to do that? And she said, well, that's rude. So why is that rude? I'm hungry. It's a good sub. What am I supposed to do? Not make it's good noises? I said, you got to let me be me. And she said, I'm not doing that. So, yeah. But I tell you what, Stu's is phenomenal. Oh, my goodness.
And the little area is pretty cool, too. Like, just walking around the little shopping center is pretty nice. We went to the beach. Unfortunately, that day it was cold. Out of all 7 days we were there, that was the only coldest day, so the water was freezing. And, me and my wife being tourists are the only one putting our feet in the water, and everybody else is like 30 feet away. But it was a good time, and can't wait to do it again. But, like I said, JR, you call him the mayor of Hilton Head, and you can ask him. He should be doing tours, paid tours, the week leading up to nationals. You get him a big van and just hop on there, and he'll drive you around the island, tell you everything.
He would do it too, and he'd do it with a smile.
Oh yeah, he loves the island, and just a great addition to the roster of members of the month, and I enjoy talking to him. He just has so many cool stories about that island, and the tournament that goes on there, and I would have never known of a tennis tournament that happened the week before, unless we had this conversation. So it's just pretty cool. It's trivia knowledge that he has about the island. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lot of fun to be around. And Dennis is right. I mean, people do gravitate towards him for a number of different reasons. I mean, he's just an all-around good guy. Again, that loves the tour, loves the island, and why I don't see him. Let's just say I don't see him every day, or maybe even every week. But I don't know that I've ever really seen him without a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And when you go around the island and you start talking to people, especially locals, and you bring up JR's name, they just go on and on about who he is and what a great guy he is, all he's done for the island and those types of things, and for him to be one of our biggest cheerleaders really does mean a lot.
It does, and I might have to take his advice on that wrap and try it this year and see if it works. Just keeping that wrap in the golf bag for the tournament, and then if it does, at nationals I'll have to go every day and get a wrap for the next day.
Yeah.
To eat during the round.
I think he just has a lot of self-control because
you are right. The bread was good.
I number one, I don't know. I have that self-control. Even with wrap, because the meats are the meats. He's right, but it just tastes so good. I mean, and then so seriously, when we go, Jen and I go to Stu's, there's two sizes, and when I go in there, Jen says, which size are you getting? I'm getting the small one. And I start looking at the menu. I said, now just give me the regular size one. I won't eat it all.
And you eat it all.
And I eat it all. And as I'm eating, 3/4 of the way through it, I said, oh, I should not have eaten all this. And she says, well, stop. I said, well, I might as well just go ahead and finish it, because
you can't throw it away.
What am I going to do with a quarter of this sub? If I just eat a quarter of it later, I'm going to say, man, I wish I had half. More.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So I just eat it. But yeah, it's great. And again, this is, want to make sure that everybody understands it's not about Stu Subs. Stu Subs is good, but it's really more about John and JR and who he is as an individual and who he is for us in the tour. Thanks, JR, for all that you do for us. We really, really, really do appreciate it. And looking forward to many more memories with you down the road.
For sure.
So
now the big announcement.
No.
Big announcement.
Well, we still have time, in the month of March, for you tour directors to submit nominations. We've got got 4 so far. Really good nominations. Dennis is going to have a tough time choosing. I can tell you that now, because I've seen him, and he's got a tough time.
Yeah, it's the competition is heating up, and now's your time. Now's your time to, or for the tour directors, now it's their time to get their nominations in. But I'm really enjoying this one. I like the way we pivoted.
Because we talk to people all over the country with this, and we're talking to different people for different reasons. A lot of times, we may pick a winner of a tournament, or a tour director may say, this is an interesting guy or lady, you need to have more, and they've got a great story. Whatever it is, right?
Right.
But this contest is a little bit different, and being able to talk to these people, these members who truly live and breathe the tour, and getting their stories and honoring them. it's just a little bit different.
Yeah, I think it makes it a little more meaningful as well.
Yep. Absolutely. So, get your nominations in. It's going to be great. And, Chris, one of the things I think we should do is, even if the people who have been nominated, I still think we should be reading what the tour directors say about them, so that they do get their due in some way. So let's think about that as we move forward too.
Yeah, definitely. It's something to consider.
Yeah. Now, next big announcement. Who wants to win a set of Srixon irons?
I mean, I think anybody's willing to win a set of any irons, but yes, Srixon for sure. I mean, I play Srixon and I enjoy them. Can I win?
Well, we're going to tell you how you can win.
Oh.
But let me ask you a question. Yeah, so you've gotten your new irons, right?
Correct.
You like them?
Seriously? I do. I like them. It just feels like the ball just comes off real smooth off the club face. A little bit longer in the distance than what I previously had. Real forgiving, which is something that's nice, because even if you go off the toe or off the heel, you're not in real big trouble. So yeah, I really like them, and to be able to give away a set is kind of cool, because now you get to see what Srixon has to offer as well.
So how we're going to do it? Srixon has been gracious enough to give us a set of irons for us to raffle off, and the money that's raised is going to help defer some of our costs to travel around, see everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we want to keep the travel series going, and as much as me and Tim would love to have it for free, it does cost, but this will definitely help out with that. And one lucky winner gets a new set that they probably weren't even counting on for this year.
Right. Right.
So, what better way to be able to do that as well?
So what we're going to do is we're going to raffle off, like I said, raffle off a set of irons, $10 a chance. We're only going to sell 100 chances. Okay. So, and what you do is if you Venmo me, it's at Tim NATC, and I'll put the QR code on the webpage or in the show notes for you all to set or where to send the money. And as soon as we get 100 entries, we'll raffle them off, and from there, maybe we'll do a driver, maybe we'll do some wedges, and go from that point.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope we're able to see success in this and have more opportunities to give away a lot of other things. I know we have a ton of listeners. I believe we're not having a limit on how many you can buy. Is that correct?
No limit.
Okay, so think of it as an easy way to come out with a new set, and I believe from what I got, 4 through pitching wedge.
Yes, I believe so.
So there's ZX7s, MK2s, 4 through pitching wedge. Yeah, it's a great set, and for $10, you could be a lucky winner and walk home with a brand new set for 2025.
Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll do the wheel of names. Once we get 100, we'll do it live right here on the podcast, so everybody knows there's no funny business going on.
Right.
And everybody will pay you $10. Everybody will get a shot at it. So, like I said, I'll put a QR code and my username for Venmo in the show notes for everybody. Just go ahead and log board and take care of that. And kind of to go along with that, Chris, just for anybody that's out there that's a business owner, wants to sponsor the podcast, please reach out to us and let us know. We can put something together for you. And all that money would go to help us produce a podcast and get us money to be able to travel around and see everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Any help helps is
Exactly.
what I tell my guys, because just like your local tour, you know how they look for sponsors.
Yes.
We're doing this for y'all. I know me and Tim, we really enjoy talking to each other. But we do it for you guys and for information for you all, and we'd love to see you guys in person than just
Absolutely.
nationals.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll like I said, we'll put that in the show notes, and we'll see how that goes. And that's all I've got this week, bud. I mean, I get to go to Howie in the Hills.
I think that's the front runner for funniest, unique town names this year.
Yep.
Howie in the Hill.
Howie in the Hills. Yep. And that's a sold out senior regional, so it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody down there. And obviously this is going to come out after I've already been there, but and we'll highlight the winners in the next episode.
Yeah, and a lot of tours are starting to play, starting their seasons. This madness of March. You got the end of or start of basketball season or basketball tournament. Tours starting all over, and we're in full swing.
Exactly, full swing. Yeah, that's what we haven't talked about. Full swing yet. We did a little bit the first episode, but we should probably talk about that sometime soon too, because very, very, very interesting things going on in there.
Oh yeah, it you know, whoever thought of that idea, I know it's a spinoff of the F1 series, but to be able to get these guys, and it's not like it's, you know, the second tier, third tier guys on there, like they've got the top notch players on there talking about it. And there was, you know what happens, you know what's going to happen. Like, we know they're going to talk about Scotty and getting arrested. You know they're going to talk about this and that. But to be able to see what's going on in the back end is pretty cool. I binge watched it.
Yeah, I got one episode left to go, but you know the one with Gary Woodland, that was, you know, we kind of knew what was going on because they talked about it a little bit before that, but we didn't really know what was going on. And some of those things, it's like I can't imagine.
Right. It takes a lot for him to agree to put that on there.
Yeah. But if that helps somebody else that's going through that too, and I think that's what he understands, that there are some there is some treatment out there for that, and you're not alone. And that's just, imagine.
Right.
Anyway, let's end on a positive note.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean we'll talk about it maybe next one because it's pretty cool. But I think again, having JR in the running, you know, giving away a set of irons, I think we're gonna be busier this year.
Much busier, right?
But it's gonna be fun, and before you know it, we'll be doing this live in nationals.
Exactly. And where this was our best episode ever, just wait till next episode. All right, bud. You take care of yourself. We'll talk to you soon.
Likewise.
All right, that's a wrap for this week's episode. But Chris, after all this time, you would think we would remember this stuff.
We forgot to tell people how to register, didn't we?
Yep. Take it away.
Well, if you're not already part of the Golfweek Amateur Tour, what are you waiting for? Grab your clubs, join the fun, and see what competitive golf is all about. You can sign up today and start meeting some incredible folks
who love the game as much as you do.
All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership dues.
And hey, don't forget, if you're enjoying the podcast, you can catch us on all of the major podcast platforms. Be sure to download, share it with your golf buddies, and throw us a quick review if you're feeling the love. It helps us keep bringing you the good stuff and reaching even more golfers out there. Thanks for hanging with us, and until next time, keep swinging and having fun out there.
We'll see you next time. Take care.